My name is Ernest Blevins. I'm a historic preservationist archaeologist. I also shoot for cemeterysurveysincorporated.com cemeteries to donate to their nonprofit website. Came out today, which is March 22nd, Saturday afternoon, 2008, to shoot a cemetery in Knoxville on South Kyle Street, which I've been informed is a Pauper cemetery. Also been informed that it was recently cleaned up with a Bobcat by the city of Knoxville. This little short video is to document some of the destruction I have seen of the stones and of the graves. Pauper Cemetery in Knoxville is located at the corner of Bethel and South Kyle, which is just off of Kyle Street near Martin Luther King Hill Street. This is a pan of the cemetery. As you can see, it's been recently cleared. You can see some of the debris and trails around. So there's recent cutting of the tree. You also see depressions that have been run over, which are most likely unmarked graves. Going along one of the Bobcat paths, you see a knocked over tombstone, another knocked over stone. From up here, one that's been run over several times. This one here, which I pieced together during my shooting, which is in two different spots. Over here, see a depression. And along, follow the trail along, we see another headstone location. Some more disturbed headstones. Miss Emma Jones, who's not at rest anymore. Through here, heavily disturbed area. Grave marker. A young David William in the path. Foundation for a headstone. One cutting this way. Another headstone, face down, and not photographed yet. Woods there, you see some more headstones dislocated. Another path bulldozed through. What was an old gate area, it looks like, from some of the other observations. Okay, switch to another part of the cemetery. First indication stone something was up. That actually desecrated graves, freshly broken, lying in the middle of a path. Some of the other parts of the cemetery are not quite as bad as this rear section. Here's a couple stones. Mr. Kelsley, looks like he's been recently removed from his scratched up podium. Another scratched up headstone lost. How about this gravesite right here, where they have run through this coffin area several times. Broken stones, possible broken surround. This is one of the headstones of Mary Ann something, Sawyers maybe, born in 1843 and died in 1918. I found the big piece and the small piece right here in this area. These three pieces were scattered around this area over here. How about this stray piece here? Another stray piece, possibly belonging to this stone here. And as you can see, it is freshly broken. Haven't had a chance to weather or color. Again, another collapsed coffin. The stone nicely glazed over recently, and is in fact pressed so far down, possibly from being run over, they can't pick it up. Another foundation of the stone, and looky right there, there's the stone. Right there. Right in the, looks like the coffin collapsed. This stone here is an indicator something was fairly recent, because as I lifted it to copy the photograph the inscription, we will see fresh leaves underneath. They haven't even had time to die off yet from the vinage. So Miss Mary Willis may or may not be buried actually in this locale. There's a broken stone of Master E.C. Sparks, who I've already cleaned up. It had been flagged when it was knocked over. And Mr. E.C. Sparks was age 9. So a lot of kids' graves out here. Some of them are, they definitely return that back to where it was for documentation purposes. Piles of debris. You can see some of the gravestones there. Come back, follow the Bobcat tracks right along, and we'll find these markers right in the way. Impression like these and these here, all in a row around here, those indications of collapsed graves, where the coffin was hollow and rotted away and collapsed, pulling in the surface. And you can see quite often the Bobcat tracks go right over them, and going over them they of course get stuck because they're perpendicular to the way the Bobcat's going. Scraping right next to the grave there, behind it, right in the path, freshly broken stone, and one hasn't been flipped over yet, but was marked apparently. Take note of that. Inspection on that one by flipping it over, that is not a headstone, that is actually a base. So, where's the stone? But this one here that I marked, freshly knocked over. To make our way down the hill on our clear way to leave, I'll show you the one interesting, ironic last stone to be looked at. Somebody who is wife of George Malcolm, and their last name, coincidentally, is also Blevins. No idea if they're a relation or not, although I do have East Tennessee ancestry. I can't prove yet. I've now completed the cemetery survey, incorporated.com survey of the cemetery, documenting the people here. Very few of the graves are older than about 1907, 1918 is about the very latest you see a grave here. Most of them are early 20th century, late 19th century. There's one Union veteran buried here who is the U.S. Colored Heavy Artillery. There's possible ancestor of mine, related distantly ancestor I've discovered. But besides the coincidence of that, we have Stark Cemetery who has been damaged severely. Graves have been uprooted, disturbed, footstones are loose, surrounds have been damaged by heavy equipment. Gravestones show recent breaking, and even on top of green foliage, showing that how recent it is. Some knocked over headstones show that they've been there for a while and could be from previous cleanups, as evident by the man who talked to me earlier, told me it was Pauper Cemetery. Said that the city regularly comes through and cleans about, quote, once a year or so. But this is our way of cleaning. It's very destructive, or maybe this is just a bad crew who did a poor job. Anyway, the city needs to look into this. The state needs to look into this. Stones can be restored and replaced. Much of the information is already lost. Some is now documented with cemetery surveys incorporated.com. Hopefully this source will help people find their missing ancestors who may or may not be buried here, but many graves are unmarked, so we may never know who they are, and most likely we'll never know. Possible archaeological site as well. So this situation should be looked at, and hopefully publicity will get it done. Thank you very much for watching.